Okay, WCA talk then. Okay, WCA 2017, as you might have heard or read or whatever, it's not gonna be happening for Warcraft 3. There's a big news on Gosu Gamers, or not a big news, but there's a news on Gosu Gamers about it. I think we were the first to spread the word, because I woke up today and got a message from the Russian organizers and said, they said no Blizzard games this year at WCA. I was like, what? Because until Friday, I was preparing like a plan for the European qualifier, which I wanted to be heavily involved with again. And since WCA America or LNE had already announced the qualifiers 2 weeks ago or something, I thought everything is set in stone. I still had a bad feeling in my gut because whenever I asked the licensed organizers, UCC and LNE, they said, yeah, there's something going on, but we'll be fine, and we are preparing for the qualifier, and let's just start to prepare everything. Okay. So the qualifiers were announced, but whenever I questioned the Chinese organizers, especially Frank Zhang, the guy who is mentioned in the Ghost of Gamers article as well, I got little to no response. This one guy kept responding to me that there is a problem. And I was kind of worrying because from another guy who's in the industry, I heard that Blizzard is asking for a lot more requirements to run tournaments than they were the past years. So since we all know that WCA might not be the most professional organizer, I was kind of worrying about it already. But I still had a good faith, and I was planning some cool stuff for the qualifiers. And then it hit me today, and I think I mentioned on stream that we wanted to meet with WCA officials right after WCA. Then they wanted to invite us to Beijing in January. Both didn't happen. Then I asked for a meeting in February. Then I asked for a meeting in March, and I got not even an answer. So that was already weird. So that guy that I asked for a meeting, I contacted him today, and I got an immediate response that it's not gonna be happening, that Blizzard does not give their authority to run games for WCA. And the thing is that I think Blizzard, as of right now, Blizzard did not decline the permission. It's just they didn't answer them right now. And there's a big press conference for WCA on March 23rd, which is in 3 days. So they have to have their plans online on March 23rd. And they're not waiting for Blizzard anymore. So that means no Hearthstone, no Warcraft 3. And that is the most horrible thing for Western Warcraft. I think shutting down W3 Arena and killing WCA are the worst things that could just happen right now, and one of the things just happened. A lot of people on Reddit, for example, or in social media said, oh, it's not a big deal. The finals were horrible this year. We will find another tournament, or we have other tournaments. No, that's not the case, guys. If you were around in 2014, you knew, or you know how broken the scene was in 2014. There was a few Zodiac Cups from war3.eu, but that was it. There was not a goal for a programmer to work, or a semi-pro gamer, whatever you want to call it, to work towards. And when WCA came, people know, okay, I can play Warcraft to go to China. And then it was, okay, I can play Warcraft to get, what was the price last year? $7,500 or something? The prize money of WCA is so sick that it cannot be matched. And not only that, I think it was $100,000 last year in general, or even more. 135 or something. 15,000 for each qualifier. Plus the main event then. And who Who would invest money like that into Warcraft without an updated BattleNet right now? There's no one. On the other side, yeah, you can say that you can qualify for GCS, but that's incredibly hard because you have to go through the qualifiers against Chinese people who have a ping advantage, against Korean people who have a ping advantage, and better playtimes. So for a European to qualify for GCS is really hard. And you can't just do a tournament saying, okay, we are the new world championship now. We have not the highest prize pool, but let's do qualifiers all around the world. Then you still have the problem that you need at least $10,000 to $15,000 for travel and accommodation. And who's going to pay that? Because nobody sees this money that you put into travel and accommodation. And that's a hell of a lot of money. We wanted to run a Home Story Cup for Warcraft, and that was actually the biggest thing. Prize pool, I think it's not the biggest deal breaker, but travel and accommodation is super expensive, and WCA was always paying for that. And with that, you had 2 or 3 slots for Europe guaranteed. You had 2 and 3 slots for Korea guaranteed. You had a cool mix. Then they wanted to relive America, which was great as well. So they were really, really helpful in developing the scene again. Even though the finals were crap, the qualifiers were amazing. Can you remember Gamescom, man? How awesome that was, and how helpful WCA was? WCA was, together with NetEase, the biggest thing to bring Warcraft back to the stage that we are in now, which is cool. And it's a million times better than it was 2 years ago. So WCA killed is horrible. And the thing is, we don't have, because everybody knows how dependent Warcraft is on W3 Arena, on World Cyber Arena. So far, what did you see from the Chinese event organized this year? We had Nostalgia Battlefield, which was really cool. We had one NWL Nice Game TV tournament, but that's it. That's 2 tournaments in a quarter of a year. So is this the sign for tournament organizers already that, okay, Warcraft is declining again? I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm really worried. I had this feeling back in, when was it, 2009? When Meet Your Makers shut down? That was bad. That was really bad. And now I have the same feeling again. But there is hope. Maybe with a restructure of GCS, that would be cool. But apart from that, I don't know. So there's no threat in the Warcraft scene right now. There's no world championship. There's nothing that we can build to. And we didn't even talk too much about the money yet. We talked to a few people, or we met a few people on tournaments the past 2 years. And let's create, just for a little example here, let's create a player who's really good and really successful and has not too much living costs, like he's living in the CIS region or whatever, or I don't know, or China, whatever. And if he wins the weekly cup, he can live on that for 2 weeks because maybe he still lives at home, or his rent is super low. So he can sustain his life with $100 for 2 weeks or something. And can you imagine how great it is to win WCA money then, or bigger prize pools? That keeps players a pro. And we don't have too many of them in Western Warcraft here. So that is horrible. because the gap between China and the rest of the world is big. Not so much compared to Korea, because they have a special infrastructure, I feel. But the gap between Korea and Europe is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You remember when they all came back in 2015? And it was like they were all on par with the Europeans, and what 1 year did. They have so much more experience now, and they have so much more to practice, or time to practice, that with WCA we have a good shot for like 2 or 3 people to hang with the best. But without it, without the biggest money that's coming to the scene, last year WCA money was 50% of all prize pool in European Warcraft or Western Warcraft. Ting was great, of course. Jera and Russ great. Russ Brain Cup are great. But one tournament, just the qualifier, is 50% of the entire prize pool in European Warcraft. That's just sick. And then you go on Reddit and say, oh, it's not that big of a deal if WCA is gone. I don't even have to talk about the players. We can talk about ourselves. WCA casting fees are the only casting fees that we get the entire year. GCS is not paying. Nothing else is paying. And I think it's pretty common in esports now that as a caster you get paid a bit at least. We don't get anything because it's Warcraft and we need to support the players first. And that's very understandable. But WCA qualifier money is 1/4 to 1/3 of our income the entire year. So you can see easily what this does. And without that money, we have to work more in our office jobs, and then you get less coverage, and then, you know, this could be a start of a downward spiral. Maybe I'm too pessimistic about this, but this could be really bad. Do you think it could be that Blizzard is holding back the license to do their own event soon? I don't think so, because it's not only for Warcraft, it's for Hearthstone and Warcraft. I would love to have a BlizzCon event for Warcraft, but they are not there yet. The infrastructure for a Blizzard event in Warcraft is not there. So yeah, it's a really bad timing, because I think if this happens in 2018, then we have a restructured Battle.net with a better infrastructure, and then we can say, okay, the game has a lot more exposure now. Maybe it attracts more sponsors. But right now, in the state that Warcraft 3 is outside of China without netties, you will not get sponsors if you do not have great connections like Todd had with Ting and Macherino. So yeah, I don't want to bash Reddit in general here, by the way. The community in Reddit is great. Just like a few people that don't get the bigger scheme of things. Could it be that they're trying to avoid China? Oh, hell no, they will not avoid China. No way. No, man. I love the Reddit. So yeah, those are my thoughts about WCA, I guess. Anything you want to know? Or anything that I missed? Let me check it. I mean, it's not 100% over yet, because we're still waiting for the final decision of Blizzard. Maybe they turn it around. I sent a mail to the Classic department like, guys, we need some firefighters here. You're the last straw. Please talk with your license department, whatever. Try something. Because they helped us with Nostalgia Battlefield. But I think this is way bigger, and I don't think that they have any decision on that. I just explained how important this is, how important this tournament is for Warcraft, and maybe they don't get a license for Hearthstone, but maybe they get one for Warcraft, because for Blizzard America it's not that important. So there's one tiny bit of hope that we have. And if that happens, man, there's gonna be a celebration stream for sure. There has to be a reason for this, yeah. WCA's statement on this is up at Gosu Gamers, and that's the same statement that I got. That Blizzard is not giving them the rights. But as I mentioned before, Blizzard is asking for a lot more, but Frank Zhang says they provided all the information Blizzard wanted, and they met all the criteria, but still there's no final decision, and they can't wait any longer. So that's the thing.